All right, welcome to the Lit and the Lost. My name is Aaron.
I'm Buddy.
And we are going to be, we plan on being one of the first biblical, paranormal, supernatural, conspiracy. We're just going to round it up and put it all into one, to one podcast each week. We plan on doing a little bit of everything.
They all tie together in ways.
Yeah. Everything we do, I've got just a little thing of notes right here, but everything we do is going to, in some way, in one way or another, tie back to the Bible. You know, most of it. Yeah, most of it. Some of it won't, some of it will, but yeah, because we plan on doing, current events and stuff like that. But we want to do, we want to talk about paranormal stuff here. Main thing, we want to keep the Bible. We want to center around the Bible. We want to keep Jesus, the center of our lives. We are Christians. We want to talk about paranormal. We want to talk about all things supernatural. We want to talk about cryptids. Each episode will, drop different subjects, like different beings, different entities, or whatever.
They all coexist within our universe.
Yeah, one thing I've learned, like if you were to ask me, do I believe in Bigfoot? I'm going to say, I don't know. If you ask me, do I believe in fairies? I'll say, I don't know.
I want to.
If you were to ask me, do I believe in, Stiginis or werewolves or vampires or whatever, I'm going to say I don't know to all that. One thing I do know is that we, on this earth, whether you want to call it supernatural, whether you want to call it alien, however you identify it, I'm 100% certain that we are not alone. And one of the things we're going to do is discuss all the stuff around us. Sometimes it'll be spiritual, sometimes it'll be physical. So, we're just going to start off, like he said, that's Buddy. My name is Aaron.
We're brothers.
Yeah, we're brothers.
You can't tell.
Yeah. But much like Patrick Swayze and his brother, I'm the younger, better looking version.
That's
the older brother.
I was about to say Sean and Chris Penn, and I thought, which one you want to
be? We lose regardless
yeah.
on that one. You can be either one. I choose not to. But just so we're clear.
I'm Sylvester. He's Frank Stallone.
Yeah. But we're not gonna hide anything. We're a couple of broken guys, just trying to be better. We're Gen Xers. I mean, that to a lot of people, especially your older crowd, that'll say it all. We're Gen Xers who we're just trying to follow Jesus. We're trying to be better in our pursuit, to make it home, to make it to heaven. And at the same time, we want to offer a little bit of education along the way.
And also a pursuit of, just the truth about all of this stuff.
Right.
And I'm constantly obsessed with this stuff. I love deep diving into anything paranormal, anything cryptid, and you'll never learn it all. That's what's cool about it. And you'll experience stuff. Like I used to be a ghost hunter in my younger days. I kind of quit doing that because some things happened that kind of made me think it wasn't really smart to necessarily go out hunting it, because sometimes it starts hunting you. But yeah.
Oh yeah, they'll hunt you and then they'll latch onto you. It's hard to get them off then. But at the same time, we're gonna joke. We're gonna have a good time, and we're just gonna
everything. There's comedy in everything.
We're gonna try to keep it good, keep it all good. Now, keep in mind though that everything is up for debate. We don't claim. We will tell you what we know, and in that moment, we're gonna tell it to you, with the understanding that we think we're right and we think we're accurate in everything.
It's going to be opinion.
Right, and we're not above correction. So if you have something that that shows us that we're wrong, feel free to engage in the comments.
And if you know, so if we talk about something and we leave something out that you think is important, tell us about it.
Yeah, because like I said,
add it to our resumes.
Okay, so what I've done is there's going to be a lot of people get extremely angry at some of the things we talk about. You're going to have I think probably the biggest thing we're going to have trouble with will be, we all grew up with a very worldly perspective. Almost like if it's not in physical form, if you can't see it, it doesn't exist. So when we start talking about different things, like I'll give you an example, cryptids. I've got cryptids right here. There are Bible verses that talk about cryptids. Psalm 74:14 says, "It was you who crushed the heads, multiple heads of Leviathan, and gave it as food to the creatures of the desert." Okay, first it says, crushed its heads, and then he says it gave it as food to the creatures of the desert. That lets you know right there that's a cryptid, by today's standards, because that is a multiple-headed single monster that somebody and I'm going to have to read up on it, but somebody in the Bible killed, and I'm assuming in this case they chopped it up, they probably strung its body out, and then buzzards, all that stuff, ate it from there. That's a good example of a cryptid. It also talks about in Job 41:19 through 21. It says, "Flames stream from its mouth, sparks of fire shoot out, smoke pours from its nostrils as from a boiling pot pouring over burning reeds. Its breath sets coals ablaze and flames dart from its mouth." That right there, obviously, by today's standards, it's talking about a dragon. So there's another cryptid in the Bible. As far as the subject of supernatural goes, Joshua 10:12 through 14, it says Joshua spoke to God about fighting the Amorites, and God stopped the sun and the moon in the sky until they had revenge upon their enemies. That right there is direct intervention by God. That's about as supernatural as it gets. Also, the book of Numbers 21 through 39 says Balaam was riding his donkey. His donkey saw, they were riding along like normal. His donkey saw an angel standing in front of him. At the time, Balaam could not see it. Balaam got frustrated because the donkey stopped and wouldn't go any further. So he ended up hitting it with a rod like 3 times. The donkey asked, he said, "What have I done to you for you to strike me?" And then the two of them go on to have a full-on conversation before God opens Balaam's eyes and shows him that there was an angel standing there that wouldn't let him pass. Another good example of supernatural. When we discuss paranormal, keep in mind, all these subjects, as crazy as it sounds, all these subjects actually tie back to the Bible. Paranormal, book of 1 Samuel 28:7 through 20, it says, King Saul consults a medium. It says it was the witch of Endor. And the dead prophet Samuel appears and speaks. Today, we've got all kinds of things we could call that. We could call that, I guess, like today's standards, we call it a seance, or, just however
anything falls, tarot cards, any of that
Right,
stuff.
right. Speaking to
Ouija
spirits.
boards fall into that too, which I will tell you straight out, I used to mess with Ouija boards when I was younger. And my advice, you don't mess with Ouija boards.
And also keep in mind, I'm reading that verse, and I'm pretty sure that was forbidden even in the Bible at the time. So at no point, because it says do not consult mediums, do not, don't do tarot cards, don't do anything like that. So stay away from all that stuff. I'm just giving that as an example of paranormal in the Bible. Also, Matthew 27:50 through 53, it says right after Jesus died, the temple veil tears, an earthquake hits, the graves open up, and the dead come out to appear to people in the city. That's also, by today's standards, will be considered paranormal. So what we discuss in more of an educational sense. At no point are we going to say, hey, you should go out and hunt ghosts. You should crack open a Ouija board. None of that. Stay away from all that stuff.
But keep your eyes open.
Yeah, well, keep your eyes open, because there's stuff going on around you all the time. There's demonic strongholds, angelic strongholds, all that kind of stuff is around us at all times. It all just depends on what you welcome in your life. If you have a lot of bad in your life, you're going to have a lot of demonic activity. If you focus around God, if you have a love for Jesus and try to follow him, you're going to have more angelic activity. But that's the example, 3 of the things we plan on discussing. We're also going to do current events, which pretty much is any story currently that we think is, wild, crazy, cool, funny or whatever, that's impactful on society, because everybody likes to hear.
Like my NASA story I was telling you.
Oh yeah, NASA. Boy, that's not a story. That's a whole series. But everybody likes to hear about current events. So we plan on discussing current events. Comedy. We're gonna do as much comedy as possible. When it's appropriate, of course. But joking throughout each episode, finding the funny moments in every single situation. Because if you can't laugh at life, then what's the point?
And laugh or cry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're going to do one or the other most of the times. And one of the things that I have always been real big on is conspiracy theories. So,
and one thing about when you're talking about the laugh or cry thing, going back to the whole Gen X thing, that's one thing I stand by until the day I die. I believe Gen X has the most sarcastic sense of humor in the world because of the stuff we saw when we were kids. Like, I still vividly remember in 6th grade when the Challenger blew up, and we were watching it on TV in the classroom, and when it blew up, all the teachers were out in the hallway holding each other crying, and us kids were just sitting in there going, what's going on? We wasn't old enough to really, really comprehend. But that's how we dealt with trauma, is people started making new jokes about it, Yeah. Y'all probably heard a lot of them Challenger jokes, but that's how we dealt with sarcasm. Is in a lot of ways is
trauma response.
Finding comedy in everything is it's a trauma response. It's a coping mechanism, and most Generation X has that coping mechanism because, well, we were the latchkey kids, and we were alone a lot of times, had to entertain ourselves.
Well, we entertained ourselves all right. We got into a bunch of trouble, acted stupid and everything.
We were the first ones experimenting with microwaves, making our own food because Mom and Daddy had to work.
Yeah.
And going back to the cryptid thing, here's the weird deal. Cryptid's a weird, tricky word because if you don't know, the definition of a cryptid is the belief in a creature, that exists, that they have no scientific proof it exists. But here's the weird thing about cryptid. If there's a bug out there that 20 people have seen it, and scientists say, and they describe it, and scientists say, well, there's no bug like that ever been categorized, or, until that bug is found, that bug is a cryptid. And even though it's just a bug, that's a cryptid.
Yeah, we're gonna be discussing a whole bunch of that stuff. Like I'll give you an example. You talk about a bug. I'll give you an example of, I'm sure you've heard of it, the bombardier beetle.
Yeah.
It's the beetle that in its body it has 2 chambers. Each liquid, or in this case, each chemical in each chamber is harmless by itself. But when they're both sprayed out simultaneously, they basically combine almost like an acid that has the effects of like boiling water. It's a defense mechanism.
That's why it's
pretty
called
much.
The bombardier, because it'll bomb you.
Yeah, I saw a video. Yeah. I saw a video of a frog eating one time. It sucked it up, and about a second half later, spit it out because that bombardier beetle shot out that acid and jacked its mouth up.
You gonna learn today?
Okay, so is there anything? I mean, we'll touch on one main subject I've got written right here. But is there anything you want to add to it?
No. This is mainly just an introduction video.
Okay.
We just kind of want to let you know, and like starting with the next videos when we'll really start concentrating on certain topics.
Focus on yeah.
But this is mainly us saying hi. We exist. If you want to check us out, we'd be happy to entertain you.
Okay, so the first topic is, and we're gonna start out with again cryptid. Actually, I think this kind of falls in cryptid.
Oh, you want to go ahead and do a cryptid?
Cryptid slash. I don't know if you'd call it paranormal or
what. But what is it?
Well, I want to, since we're from Oklahoma, I want to kind of touch on Oklahoma from time to time. We'll start out with Deer Woman.
Oh, native lore.
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about native lore other than what I've read. But
and a lot of it's, I believe a lot of the native lore, me and my kids had this thing about the one we don't name. And most people, if you're...
What's the name? What's the name of the one you don't name?
It's Skinwalker.
Skinwalker.
But normally, me and my children do not say that word.
But I don't think...
Because they say saying the word can actually attract
I don't think Skinwalker's the name, though, so that's not the name.
Well, yeah, the Skinwalker it's the native medicine man that during the day pretends he's a good medicine man, but at night he practices, bad magic. And that's what turns him into the skinwalker. And what the skinwalker is he can mimic different animals. Most of the time it's like a coyote or even a deer. You ever heard the term not deer?
Mm-mm.
There's hunters that talk. I've watched numerous videos over this, and that's its name, not deer, meaning it's not a deer. And it's a deer that they caught it on trail cams, dude. And this thing will walk through there, and sometimes it'll look like it's got 6 legs, walking through the woods. And you know how deers, they're like a horse. Their eyes are on the side of their heads. Mm-hmm. I watched them, and you can look these up on YouTube. You just have to, scour through there. But
try to weed through the ones that are not AI.
There's one where this.
So the older the video, the better.
This video is not AI because it's a pretty. It's got to be at least 5-10 years old. But this deer is walking by and it looks at the trail cam, and this deer's eyes are in the front of its head. They're not on its side. So that But yeah, I mean that could all fall under the skinwalker thing. But that's we'll get into skinwalker in detail later. But you're talking about deer woman. Yeah, that's
deer
a good
woman. One. Hey, I've my little bullet point thing again. She's a shapeshifter. I don't know if she's like just part woman, part deer, or if she shifts from a woman into a deer, or part deer from deer to part woman. But it says basically it's a woman with deer legs, and that's her main.
Well, sometimes she has antlers.
Yeah. To hide her legs, I guess she's known for wearing long dresses or blankets to hide her legs. So I've heard that story.
If you see her in the woods, supposedly a lot of times to hide her legs, she'll stand behind a bush and just look around it at you. But the deer woman's kind of weird because it's I don't know. It's like in Native American lore, she's not really like a spirit or anything like that. They almost consider her to be like what fae, which is like fairies. Like she's a protector of nature. But her origin story is a lot darker. Like supposedly, and it's not one woman. There's not one deer woman. There can be many deer women, but usually they died by getting, the first story I read was they believed that she was a woman that was raped and beaten pretty much near death out in the woods. And while she was laying there dying on the ground, this fawn come up to her and sat next to her. And the reason the fawn did that was so that she wouldn't have to die alone. And as soon as she passed, somehow her and the fawn's spirit kind of merged. And they say if you're a good person, that you don't have to worry about her. But kind of like the fairies or the fae, they can be harmless or they can be very mischievous and evil if they want to. And her deal is if she can read, she knows what kind of person you are. And if you've harmed women and children, then she'll usually try to lure you out with her beauty. And by the time you get close enough to her that you realize this ain't right, she'll jump out and she stomp you to death with her hooves.
Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling, and she's one of the lesser known ones, but I have a theory on why she's one of the lesser known ones. Because she's known for hanging around like reservations. She's known for appearing at powwows and stuff like that.
There's been hunters that claim they saw her. They said it looked like a deer, but it was running around like a human.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the main
dog man.
My theory though is that she's known for hanging around, powwows, reservations, stuff like that, which means she's deep in Native American folklore, which means most of your natives are very well educated on her. Well, she appears to men to lure them away, like they're,
because all the stuff I've watched, ain't no woman ever seen her.
Exactly. So if you're a man and you see her, whether you are dumb enough to go along with her or you know exactly what's going on and you take off running, you ain't gonna run back. You ain't gonna run back home and say, "Hey, honey, guess what I saw? I saw, a lady with deer legs just now." Because the first thing the first thing she's gonna say is, "What you been doing?" Because she is an avenging spirit.
What strip club you coming home from? They wear deer legs now.
She's known for going after immoral men. I'm guessing
like a furry strip club.
Abusive men. Men who sexually immoral. Cheat on their wives and stuff.
Which, sexually immoral falls under a lot of them kind of things. But I love Native folklore, and I believe a lot of it. Now, Deer Lady, I want to believe. I I do believe in the skinwalker.
Well,
I
I
do
mean,
believe in the Stegini. I believe in Bigfoot. That's Native American lore.
well, you say you want to believe, but dude, I've got
Like
right
X-Files,
here.
I want to believe.
I've got there. The Deer Woman dates all the way back to the mid to late 1800s.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hitchhikers have reported seeing her as far back as the 1940s. The 1990s, there have been cases of her being seen near colleges and reservations. There's even
What are colleges for? Looking for the kicker?
immoral men. I mean,
Oh
come
yeah,
on.
well there you go. You kind of
But yeah, I mean, there's even sightings as back as far as 2010 in Oklahoma, Texas, and the Pacific Northwest. And even here's one I come across April the 15th of 2015 at a powwow in Oklahoma.
Which is where we're at, in case you don't know. We live here in Oklahoma.
But
we're
I mean,
proud
it's
Oklahoma.
I'm not going to say that I believe in Deer Woman.
Well, there's a lot of them.
It's possible.
There's a lot of them I do believe, but now there's a few, and I'm not trying to make nobody mad if you're watching this. There's some of that Native American lore, and we'll get into all of them eventually. But there's some I kind of like, and I got buddies, Native buddies, that's going to get mad at me for saying this, but I got a little problem with the little people thing.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I was about to say I've looked into the little people. We'll talk about them as well. But no, the thing about the Deer Woman though is not that I don't believe or I do believe, because I'm not decided. I'll probably, unless I see something, I'll probably never be 100% decided one way or the other. But it's crazy that you have sightings in multiple states, multiple areas that span over the course of 100 plus years. That's the thing I've always been fascinated by.
It's just like Bigfoot.
Is
I mean,
anybody can lie and make up a story here in this place, but for somebody else to happen to lie and make up that exact same story somewhere
that make things
else.
credible to me is when, what makes things more credible to me is when people in different places that don't know each other around the same time, to where the story can't spread that fast, see something, and all their stories kind of correlate.
Yeah, correlate.
That all their stories are pretty much the same. And it's like,
kind of like ancient societies that are, oceans apart.
well, and we'll get into this in an episode eventually too. It's like the whole Antarctica thing about, the reason they say Antarctica, there's something there, is because in the 1800s, America, Britain, and France all went on expeditions in Antarctica within a 6-year period. None of them had any interaction with each other, but yet all the documents that the expedition leaders and stuff wrote matched 3 different countries that had no contact with each other, but they all described seeing the same things in Antarctica. We'll get into that someday.
Yeah,
that might be a two-parter.
It's going to be more than a two-parter, especially when we start talking about an entire world of countries that hate each other, that don't get along, that want to destroy each other, that want to conquer each other. All of a sudden, one day, getting together and signing a treaty, said, "Hey, let's not go here."
Or let's not let nobody else.
Let's not. Yeah, exactly. Let's not.
They
let
go
anybody
there,
else.
but they don't want anybody else going there. Me and you can't go there.
Right.
But if we work for the government, we might can go there.
But yeah, that's pretty much it on the first podcast. We just that was a little bit of, I guess, what you would call cryptid / paranormal or what. But yeah, we're gonna discuss a little bit of everything, and each episode will touch on a different topic.
And if it relates to the Bible, then yes. I know not everybody is Christians. Okay, we understand that, and I don't judge you if you're not a Christian. And if what we're talking about there's something that we feel like connects it with the Bible, we're going to talk about it. But we're not trying to,
just take it for what it's worth. If you're, I was about to say, if you're not a Christian, just
just enjoy the show.
Yeah. Just do you enjoy the show, and maybe we'll say something that you enjoy. But that's.
But yeah, and if you love paranormal and cryptid stuff and ghosts and all that stuff, then yeah, because I'm fascinated with that kind of stuff. I always have been since I was 18 years old. And I never believed in ghosts until I was 18 years old, and I'll tell that story someday. But yeah, it's fun for us. We love talking about it, and we do believe in a lot of this stuff we talk about, and the stuff that we have trouble believing. We'll still talk about it, and then I'll explain. At least I will. I'll explain why I have a problem with certain ones.
And if we ever get into an argument and threaten to choke each other out,
because that's going to happen.
That's going to happen a lot. That's going to happen so much. It's not even funny. That happened yesterday. But yeah, just oh, and another thing is, it's what we're working on. We're working on a little homemade studio right now. We have a very humble beginning in this. We're doing this in one of my bedrooms, so we're gonna work on backdrops, lightings. I'm still messing with my sound equipment. Apparently, I've got sound equipment that's not recording sound right now.
Maybe someday we'll build us a studio like Joe Rogan.
Yeah. One of these days. I've got these little microphones right now. They don't seem to want to work. So, I guess I could have faked it, coming here with one of Aria's little Barbie microphone, and one of Malachi's his little rock candy headsets and stuff.
But and I say, pass the mic.
Yeah, but eventually we'll get better. We'll get better sound equipment. Maybe we'll get better cameras, stuff like that. But until then, it's going to be just an absolute work in progress.
Yeah. It'll get better, I promise. It'll get better. We had to restart this video 4 times because this is the first time we've ever done this.
Yeah.
But it'll get better, we promise.
So just, have a good day. Love Jesus with all your heart. Follow him. And, we'll see you on the other side.